F1 has had many great drivers throughout the years, but what separates those that are good and those that are considered legends? Well, we're going to look at some of the best drivers the sport has ever offered and see what traits unite them all. And when talking about the greats of F1, it's hard not to mention Juan Manuel Fangio, the first driver to ever really dominate the sport, securing 5 championships between 1951 and 1957, managing to win these with 4 different constructors: Ferrari, Maserati, Mercedes, and Alfa Romeo. The Argentinian retired from F1 in 1958, citing he was worn out from just how hard he was pushing himself. And as well, he was losing motivation because of just how dangerous the sport was and seeing so many of his peers pass away. Fangio himself lived a long life and died in 1995 in his home country of Argentina. He did manage to win twice in Monaco, but our next driver did many more than that. Graham Hill was even nicknamed Mr. Monaco due to how talented he was at the tricky street circuit. The double world champion had an, at the time, record-breaking 5 wins in Monaco, and he's the only driver to have ever won the famous Triple Crown of motorsport, which is winning the Monaco Grand Prix, the Indy 500, and the 24 Hours of Le Mans. But Graham Hill wasn't the only driver to see success in other categories. John Surtees is an often overlooked F1 champion, winning only 1 championship in 1964. But his F1 career isn't the only place he saw success. Surtees is also a 7-time MotoGP champion, making him the only driver in history to be a champion on both 2 and 4 wheels, as well as being the first ever rider to win 3 Isle of Man TT races in a row. He passed away at the age of 83 in 2017, but the next driver was lucky to walk away with his life during his F1 career. Niki Lauda is one of the most legendary drivers in the sport due to his longevity and famous rivalry with fellow driver James Hunt. The 3-time world champion won in 1975, 1977, and 1984. But his most memorable season is definitely that of 1976, where he had a fierce rivalry with the aforementioned James Hunt. The season was going well for Lauda until during the Grand Prix at the Nürburgring Nordschleife layout, Lauda, despite his protests about the race going ahead, crashed the car, with it bouncing off the barrier and being hit by another while bursting into flames. This led to him being hospitalized, and most assumed the worst for Niki. But just 42 days later, he was back in the car racing for Ferrari and performing. He lost the championship by just 1 point, but that isn't even the smallest margin an F1 championship has been decided by, which Lauda holds the record for, when in 1984 he secured it by just half a point from Alain Prost. And Prost is remembered as a cunning 4-time world champion, even earning himself the nickname The Professor due to his clever driving style. Prost saw success, winning in 1985, 86, 89, and 1993, taking a year off during the 1992 season. In 1989, he had a fierce rivalry with another legendary driver, and at the time, his teammate, with the two's differences coming to a head during this season, with Prost describing his teammate as a dangerous driver. But that other driver was Ayrton Senna, the 3-time world champion, widely regarded as one of the greatest in the sport, after his hard racing with rival and teammate Alain Prost. At the height of the rivalry, the two even had an infamous collision during the 1989 Japanese Grand Prix, leading to Prost securing that championship. Senna came to win twice in a row in 1990 and 1991, with Prost moving to Ferrari for those years. Senna's career came tragically to an end in 1994 in Imola after an unfortunate crash, and the man who solemnly won that race was our next driver, Michael Schumacher, the first driver to achieve 7 world championship wins. He first won in 1994 and then 1995 with Benetton, before famously moving to Ferrari, where he built the team up around himself and went on a streak winning the championship from 2000 to 2004, breaking records as he did it. Michael was not without controversy, however, as in the 1997 season, he was disqualified for, as the FIA put it, purposely famously running into Jacques Villeneuve in an attempt to win the championship. Some think he also did this to win the 1994 championship against Damon Hill, but I'll let you make your mind up. Schumacher did get a good send-off in Formula 1, spending his latter seasons at Mercedes, helping them build a team to challenge for the championship. In the early 2000s, many thought that Schumacher's winning streak would never end, but one man saw to that. Fernando Alonso, the man who defeated Michael Schumacher, taking 2 championship victories in 2005 and 2006. Alonso is known as one of the smartest, quickest, and most consistent drivers on the grid. It's commonly agreed that Alonso deserves a lot more championships because of his raw talent. Being in a championship fight with teammate Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari's Kimi Raikkonen in 2007, he missed out, tying for second with Lewis that season. After moving to Ferrari himself, in 2012 he lost out to Red Bull's Sebastian Vettel, who just had some better luck and a better car that season, despite Alonso putting up a great fight. Fernando too has had success in places other than F1.
No problems. We finished 1-2 in practice, 1-2 in qualifying, 1-2 in the race, total domination.
Being a 2-time Le Mans 24-hour winner and challenging for the Indy 500 victory until his engine unfortunately gave out, making him very close to securing the Triple Crown. But his rivalry with our next driver will never be forgotten. Sebastian Vettel was one of the most popular drivers on the grid towards the end of his career, but it wasn't always that way. Between 2010 and 2013, Vettel won 4 world championships in a row, completely dominating the sport and getting a reasonable amount of hate for it. Vettel, during this run, even got himself 9 consecutive race wins, becoming the first driver to do so in the sport. After this insanely impressive run from Vettel, he moved to Ferrari, bringing the fight to the dominant Mercedes for a few seasons. But in the end, the car was never good enough over a full season. He retired after the 2022 season to pursue environmental issues that he's passionate about. But our next driver started off as one of Vettel's biggest rivals, but became one of his closest friends. Lewis Hamilton, a driver that from the day he entered the sport has shown so much impressive pace. In his rookie year, 2007, Hamilton was able to match more experienced teammate Fernando Alonso on points, and even challenge for a championship win. And Lewis wouldn't even have to wait long for his first championship. When partnered next year with Heikki Kovalainen, Lewis was able to fight Ferrari's Felipe Massa and secure his first championship win in the final race of the season.
That car going slowly. That's gone.
While Lewis would have to be more patient for more championship success, he did consistently secure and challenge for wins during each season, until moving to Mercedes for 2013, where, when the 2014 regulations changed, Mercedes dominated, and Hamilton won 6 more championships from 2014 to 2020, only just losing out in 2016 to teammate Nico Rosberg. Until 2022, Hamilton had the impressive streak of never going a season without a race win. But even with Hamilton winning from his rookie year, the next driver is still the youngest race winner in F1, Max Verstappen, currently a 2-time world champion, looking for a 3rd this year. He entered the sport at just 17 with massive promise, and in 2016 at 18, he was promoted from Toro Rosso to the main Red Bull Racing team. And in his first race for the big team in 2016, he secured the win at Barcelona after both Mercedes crashed at the start. Max then began to build the Red Bull Racing team up around himself, and in 2021 entered a battle for the championship with Lewis Hamilton. Controversially, Max won that fight, which I'm not going to go into. All I will say is that he did drive well over the season. Then in 2022 and now in 2023, Max is absolutely dominating the sport, putting in some very consistent and impressive drives, and even now holding the record for most consecutive race wins at 10, showing he really is as legendary as some of the other drivers on this list. I'm sure there's plenty that I've missed. Even I can think of some that definitely deserve to be on here. So comment your favorite driver that I didn't put on this list. And also, please hit the subscribe button. We're going for 30,000 subscribers, and if you want to support me, the best way to do so is become a channel member like these lovely people here. Goodbye!